So we're about to go do some fishing. I had my minnow trap sitting out there, and then I need to put them in my live bait cooler. This is by Engel. These are the new ones with the rechargeable aerator. This thing's so cool. You don't have to worry about buying D-cell batteries like I do all the time because they are outrageous now. All you do is recharge this up on the wall. See how quiet it is? So now you don't have to worry about hearing my aerator through the camera anymore, because that sucker was loud. It has different speeds and stuff. Engel told me that these things will be available in the stores only around March. So this one's a 19 quart. Let's go to our minnow trap and fill this joker up. So to set my minnow trap, I just have some dry dog food and just put in a little bit in there, and that'll go a long way. So all I do to set it is I got the dog food, got this other half, and see these two little clips right there? Those are going to line up with those alternating clips. And that one goes in. Just like that, see? They're both clipped in. And now on this side, you got these two little holes that are going to line up. We're going to take this clip and line it right in those holes. And then what happens is these minnows come in here to feed on this dog food. They go through that little funnel. See how it narrows down into a funnel with the hole in it? They get trapped inside of here, and majority of the time they don't swim back through that funnel because it's kind of hard. Drop that down to the water. If you're on a dock that has a bunch of waves or a lot of current, you can add a small rock into there. But this galvanized trap seems to sit pretty good down there. So I'm gonna let that soak again till the morning and see what else we get. Just to show you, we're gonna collect our bait. I put some dog food in my minnow trap, and it's been sitting over here overnight. And I have a bunch of minnows. Look at those. That's some awesome bait. There's a good variety. There's some bull minnows in there. See that bull minnow, big one? And then these are mostly sheep's head minnows. They're unrelated to the sheep's head fish that you see me catch a lot. These are just called sheep's head minnows. They kind of look like bluegill. But these are going to go in my Engel bait cooler, and we're going to go out and catch some fish. But look at that. They love that dog food and this little $15 minnow trap. Just call me about 4 dozen minnows that I don't have to buy. So I got some of the water that my minnows are coming out from. You want to use the same water that your bait comes from. And now I have that hose hooked up to the bottom of the Engel. Let's go ahead and turn it on. And that joker's on. See it bubbling? So much easier. I use these things over my live well in my boat. But we have a little mesh liner in there. And so you want that in there. You want your aerator running and some water. Let's take our minnow trap out. Here we go. Look at all those. I'm going to kind of dump them on one side like that. And I'm doing this one-handed. Take the little clip off and see it breaks into 2 pieces. Now I'm going to throw some of the dog food out. And these smaller minnows like that, I'm going to let those go and get bigger. But this is about the size I'm looking for. That's a perfect size minnow. So we're gonna throw you in there, buddy. There you go. He's gonna make himself home. There's another good one. You wanna keep them out of that water as little as you can because you want your bait to stay frisky. So I'm gonna pick through these. If I see something different, I'll show you. There's a good one. Look at that. And he's swimming around nice. Now what I'm gonna do just to make life easier is kind of shake it around. Let some of this dog food get out of there, just so I can filter through my minnows better. There we go. And it's chumming the water a little bit too. And there's a bull minnow. That's what I'm really like to use are these. See that bull minnow? Look at you. You're gonna go in there. And the rest of these little sheep's head minnows. This is all natural bait. $15 for this minnow trap. You can buy cheap dog food and catch your own bait. So you don't have to worry about buying it. Or if the bait stores don't have it, then you can still get bait. And I love these little minnows because a lot of times you're not going to catch these things in your cast net. So I filtered through all those. I threw a bunch of those real small ones back. And now we have plenty of bait to go fishing. See how easy this net is to use? You just pick it up, pick out your minnow, drop it back down again. Just a word of the wise, if you have bug spray or sunscreen on your hands You do not want to dip them into your bait cooler or your live well, because the oils from that will kill all your bait, especially shrimp. Shrimp are very sensitive to that. So just a word of mine, if you have all that stuff on your hands, which I do a lot, bug spray, especially this time of year, use this net, lift it up, grab you one, or you can get you a little dip net. But now that we have some bait, y'all, let's get out on the boat and go do some fishing. Yo, what is going on? This is Steven here, Bama Saltwater Fishing. Real quick tackle breakdown. I am using a popping cork setup. So I have a little 1.0 mustad circle hook here, see that? And the leader I'm using is about 3.5 foot of 20-pound Yozuri fluorocarbon. So I have that leader tied up to a Fairhope rattle popping cork, which you can actually get all this stuff, the leader, the popping cork, the hooks, on bamasaltwater.com. I still have a pretty good stock of them. These are locally made popping corks. See why they're called popping corks? They make a really good rattling sound. Should be able to call in some fish. Now, lastly, about 6 to 8 inches above my circle hook is a small little Eagle Claw split shot weight. Now I'm throwing that on a Daiwa Saltist MQ 2500 15-pound braid and a Star Plasma 2 7-foot medium heavy fast action rod. So that's the tackle breakdown. Let's go ahead and get to our fishing spot and go catch us some fish today. Oh, there's one. Ah, didn't get the hook in. Oh, come back for it. Got to get that circle hook in it. See if he'll come back. Dang. Really hard to get that circle hook in its mouth on these trout. Okay, I just took it again. I'm gonna let it feed, and put the hook on it. There it is. Just got you. All right. Oh, wow. Wow. That's a nice trout. Or is that a redfish? No, that's a nice trout. That's gonna be dinner if we can get him in the boat. There we go, buddy, come on. It's a fat one. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. Oh, he just threw my bull minnow all the way over. Look at that, there went my bull minnow. Ooh, that's a pretty one, y'all. Check that out. It's a little tricky getting that circle hook in their mouth, so you gotta let them eat pretty good. That's the first fish of the day on the live bull minnow. He came back for it 3 times, and I finally got that circle hook in him. Circle hooks are not ideal for speckled trout because of their mouth shape, but you can definitely catch fish on them. You just got to let them eat a little bit more. That's a great specimen, healthy fish, big old yellow mouth. Absolutely love them. Look how dark they are on top. Gonna take it home and eat it. Let's go see where he threw my bull minnow up here. Yep, ate that one pretty good. So there's some free chum there. Oh, that bull minnow actually, man, that thing started swimming. He played completely dead. Well played, bull minnow, well played. It's time to get another one. Take another one of those little bitty ones there. Let's hook it up, just like I've been doing. See, just like that. And let's cast it back out. Cast. There we go. I scared up a bunch of mullets, so at least I know the bait's back here, which means there should be some sort of predator fish. Guess we'll find out, right? Oh, there's a fish. Gotcha. Nice red, nice red. Get out of there. Oh yeah, buddy. That's what I'm talking about. Get in here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Finally got some redemption. Beautiful February wintertime redfish. Look at that on the live minnow. That is awesome, y'all. Had to get him out of that tree, but he took that cork down. That is so exciting, no matter what age you are, to see that popping cork go down. Let me get this hook out of him. Hook came out pretty good, but he was pinned. And that's a slot red for dinner, y'all. They only have to be 16 to 26 inches in the state of Alabama. You're allowed 3 per person. One of those 3 can be over slot. So this one's a perfect slot fish. Cannot wait to take this home and eat it. Woo! I'm gonna have to grab another minnow and get back out there. And let's cast it back out. Hopefully there's some more hanging around and they don't take me into this tree. I really have to put some pressure on them. It takes them a little bit to find it because it's dirty water, but redfish have a very good hunting skill. Very great senses. Oh, there it is. There's another one. It just got me under that tree. Am I gonna get them up? I think so. Oh, come on. Man, they know that home pretty well. There it is. Boat flip again. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That's another nice one to go home with me. Y'all, that was awesome. And that little mustad wide gap hook is pretty strong. Beautiful Alabama. Winter time, mid-February. Redfish. I can't say it's winter time. Theoretically it is, but these no-see-ums are eating me alive. But it's well worth it when I'm catching these. Let's throw him in the cooler. Y'all, it is getting dark on me right now. So I'm gonna probably end up cleaning those fish the next day, which is tomorrow for me, but for y'all, it's just gonna be in a second. Pretty little dolphin. We're gonna get into cleaning these beautiful redfish. Look at that. Nice slot red. Check out that big dorsal fin on them. Come out of that pretty water eating minnows. There's the other one that I caught. That first trout I caught, I ended up giving it away. Look at a spot right in the middle. That's cool. But I am using the 7-inch sword fillet knife. This is a flex fillet. Link down below. You can go get you a real nice fillet knife. I'll leave them outside. They do last a long time if you clean as much fish as I do. I like a buy once, cry once. Buy one time, you don't have to buy one every single year, unless you want to, but these last a pretty long time. I'm just gonna take the sharpener just to touch it up. They also sell these on their website. 20-degree angle for the fillet knives. All right, it's just a touch it up. We're not sitting there whittling hair with it, even though you can, but we're just filleting fish. So let's get into it. We're gonna make a nice fish curry. First thing I like to do on pretty much every fish, make that cut behind the gills, going down to that pectoral fin. Try not to pierce any of the guts in there. There we go. They have some real nice belly meat too. See that? But we can open that fillet up from the bottom all the way back to that fin, and then just fillet it just like you would anything else. Redfish have a little zipper, I call it. See? Where you can get in between those scales. And I like to work slowly. You can go fast, but there's no reason to go fast when you're not on the clock. And just take your time. We're going to use this knife. Slice right down the bones. Let that flexible blade curve around these bones here. Once you get to that backbone in the middle, you're going to go on top of it. And then you want to go back down. That's to not miss the meat on the bottom fillet. You can also go down from the bottom as well. And then I like to poke it through and just kind of one easy slice like that. Now they do have a big rib cage, and I'm just going to fillet right off this rib cage here. Just like that. Real easy. Now we have this really clean redfish fillet, which you can actually go ahead and cook it just like this. I have a few videos on my channel where I cook it on the half shell. This hard skin and scales can take a nice char and a very tasty meat. But today I'm going to fillet it because I am making a stew type dish, which is a curry. So here we go. Take a sharp knife, kind of hold onto the skin, and then just work your knife parallel to the surface. And just one easy motion, or two or three, however, you don't have to be perfect, but we're going to fillet it right off that skin. Look at that. You can make some boots out of that joker. That would be cool. But look at that redfish fillet. There is a little bit of red meat in there, which when I get ready to cook, I will cut this up into bite-sized pieces, so that will go into our stew. We do need to take these pin bones out. Just feel with your finger. I'm feeling right here, feel some pin bones. You can take tweezers, or you can just go with the knife like I do. Cut those out. You know you have some crab trap bait. All right, we can even recycle it and throw it in our minnow trap so we have some minnows for next time. That's how I like to fillet redfish. But I'm gonna finish cleaning up the rest of these fish just like I did here, and I'll see y'all back in the kitchen. Well, we cleaned our redfish. It is the next day. All I did was clean that redfish, pat it dry, put it in the fridge overnight so we can get our ingredients. So we are gonna be making some fish curry or fish masala. It's a really good dish. It's going to seem complicated, but it's really not. You just have to have access to some of these ingredients, which you can get at like an international market or some of these specialty stores, and even Walmart started carrying some of these things. I'm gonna be cooking in this little wok here outside. It is windy. Hopefully you can hear me decent. So obviously I have my redfish. Those are cleaned up and chopped up into bite-sized pieces. Next thing I have here, this is ghee. All it is clarified butter. It's an Indian butter. You can use regular butter and oil mixed together. It's just, this stuff really has good flavor, and it also can take the higher temperatures cooking on these woks with propane. I have some ground up garlic, some ginger, some chili peppers, tomato, a little bit of tomato paste. This is chopped onion. And then our masala box here. These are the spices that's going to layer together and make some nice flavors. So what we have here, I have a couple pieces of cinnamon bark, peppercorns, and cloves. And then we have salt, turmeric, cumin powder, coriander powder. I'm not going to use the cumin seeds, but we do have those. And then red chili powder. And then upstairs right now, so it doesn't blow away, is my cilantro and curry leaves. Seems like a lot, but it's really not. It's a layer of flavors that are gonna taste great together. So this recipe will be down in the description below if you wanna go back and look at the recipe list. Like I said, it's gonna be windy, but it shouldn't take long for this to heat up. So first we need to melt our butter or ghee. We're just gonna take a big old tablespoonful and let this start melting. This is a base. You don't throw all the ingredients in at the same time. You want a base going. So that's gonna start warming up, and once that starts melting, then we'll add the rest of our spices in. So our ghee or clarified butter is melting. Now it's time to add our first spices. So you can use a masala powder, but right now I have 2 pieces of cinnamon bark. Gonna add in there. And then I have a small little mix of cloves and peppercorns. You shouldn't taste each individual flavor when done properly. They should all fuse together and make a really nice masala or really nice curry. You want to do it on high heat. It's kind of hard with this extreme wind. Every time I decide to cook outside, the wind is blowing like crazy. Now, next thing I'm going to add are our dry spices like this. So we're just going to start with some turmeric. A little goes a long way when it comes to this. Okay, so the yellow powder is turmeric. If you're wearing anything white or you have anything you do not want stained, do not get that stuff on there. It will stay on there. But these spices all add to flavor, but they also help your body too. You can look all that stuff up, but digestion, etc. like that. We're gonna add a little spoonful of turmeric powder. Like I said, a little goes a long way. Next thing I'm gonna do is add just a small teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna take our red chili powder, which we can do 2 little spoonfuls of this. Depends how spicy you want it. Then our cumin powder, spoonful. Starts to smell really good. And then lastly, our coriander powder. You don't want to add a whole bunch of this, so I'm doing that little half spoonful. And that's it with those dry spices. You don't have to measure these perfectly, you just do not want to overdo it. If you've ever eaten somewhere and it had that over flavored curry, like a real nasty curry taste, it off-puts a lot of people on cooking like this because it's overpowering. Now we're just going to stir this together and let these just kind of mix together with that butter, brown a little bit. We need to add some of our onions. This is just a whole onion chopped up, but you don't have to use the whole thing. We can go ahead and throw that whole thing in there actually. We have a lot of fish. I just now realized that. I have 2 whole fish that I was doing. You want to work fast after this point. So start stirring it around. These onions are going to break down. I don't claim to be an expert, but I do love me some Indian food, and this is what we're doing. If you know, you know. Chicken tikka and butter chicken with some naan and basmati rice. And man, that makes me hungry thinking about it. But I think this is going to be just as good with that fish. We're going to add a small spoonful of garlic, and this is just some grated ginger. I don't really like ginger, but you got to use it because it adds to the flavor. It helps balance everything out, and it's good for the tummy too. So there's some ginger. We're going to add in this tomato. This is practically one whole tomato chopped up that I'm adding in there. And then I have a little bit of tomato paste you can cheat with. Do just a little bit there. Stir this together gently. Let all this stuff break down. You don't want to see very whole pieces. So you want it to cook down, make a nice little gravy, and this is going to be the base to our food. See that? See that liquid right there? That's what we're trying to break everything down into. Look at that pretty mix. Man, that is going to be delicious. If you haven't seen this little shark mitten, subscriber sent this out to me, what was it, late last year. And man, that is awesome. I thought it was really cool. I actually used it while cooking a shark. So that was pretty cool. He's like, cooking a shark? I don't know, you gotta have fun. We're gonna add our chopped up chili. This is just jalapeno peppers. This is all to taste too. Do about half of that and let these continue cooking with the rest of our spices. So I have some water, just purified water that we're gonna add in about a 1/4 cup. Like I said, this is an exact measurement. It's all to taste and flavor. This is just gonna thin it up some, make it a little bit soupier. See that? You can see the oil come up top. Look at that. So we're gonna let this simmer down some more, and then I'm gonna go grab my redfish and bring it down. I ran out of propane right before I was gonna put my fish in. That was heartbreaking. So I'm going old school. This is actually from India, but it's just a little charcoal grill. That's all it is. And get it started, we got some lump coals in there, this royal oak. Just lit up and go and continue cooking. And when you run into problems, you don't just stop and give up. You persevere through and keep trying. Had to improvise. Got this going with those coals getting hot. And we have our nice masala gravy base. Now that masala is ready, it's time to add our main ingredient, which is this redfish. See, I cut it up just into some cubes or bite-sized pieces. Nice, thick, firm meat. Let's add that in there. Got the whole yard being done at our neighbor's house. So if you hear lawnmowers and weed eaters, that's what that sound is. But look at all that redfish. This stuff's gonna sop up this nice goodness. But we're gonna let this stuff get all covered up. And fish doesn't take long to cook. Look at that, it's already cooking right there. See, it's already getting white. Let's take just a little bit more water, clean up the side of the bowl there. Now we're gonna mix this in. Oh, y'all hear that? Look at that, the fish is cooking good. See, redfish is good to do this way. You want a firm fish, and we're just gonna let that cook. While it's cooking, our rice is up there cooking as well. You're just using some white basmati rice, and I do have some cilantro as garnishing, and it adds some really nice flavor. And then these are fresh curry leaves. Absolutely delicious. We have a curry plant, so we can get some fresh curry leaves. If not, you can normally pick these up. And it's different than your curry powder. The curry powder is way different than like fresh curry like this. So let's add this in. There we go. These are really good fried and on their own too, and some oil and ghee. But they just give some added flavor. Very good. Now that's just gonna cook. We'll be back. Sizzling up good. Look at that. So all we're doing is just kind of carefully folding it over so our fish can evenly cook. If you stir it real hard, you're just gonna break up all your fish pieces. If it gets dry, I just add some water. That's all I do, and let it mix in. Because most of this water just boils off anyway. You could smell this. You would want to stick your hand in there right now and eat you some. Y'all, our fish is ready. Come look at this. See that? Fish does not take long to cook. That's probably the fastest process in there, is just letting that fish cook. Now lastly, I want to add some cilantro on top of our dish. You don't want to do too much. And we're just going to kind of stir it in. Look at that delicious plate of some white rice. And if you know, you know, this is some naan bread. Very delicious. This is tandoori naan. It's typically cooked in a clay oven. They slap the dough on the side, and then you come out with this nice charred piece of bread. Tastes delicious. I'm gonna eat some right here. All these flavors work together. You may not like one ingredient, but by not adding it, you may end up overpowering with another, if that makes sense. So you want them to all work together. Now we're gonna take it off the heat so it doesn't keep on cooking. I'll move it over here because there's no heat over here. But this was just the cooking device I was using because our propane, because we ran out of gas, it was much easier just to heat this up. This thing's like 20 years old. It was made in India, and Really simple, conventional cooking method. It survived hurricanes, still works. Now it's time to plate, because this smells delicious and I cannot wait to eat it. Indian food is my absolute favorite type of food in the entire world. I love Indian food. Butter chicken and goat masalas are my favorite, but this fresh fish masala is going to be good too. So let's go ahead and plate up. Now typically you want to dollop on top of your rice. Make sure you get some of that gravy. Now that whole cinnamon bark is going to be in there and you just eat around it. But there's a nice dollop of fish on top of that white rice with some naan bread to scoop it up. Does that not look delicious? Very time consuming and it's a labor of love, but let's see if it feels worth it. First thing I want to do is break a piece of this naan bread, which this was just made in the oven. We don't have a tandoor oven. It'd be nice, but I don't have a tandoor oven. And all you do is take your bread. We're going to scoop up some of this fish with that cilantro and that sauce, some of our rice. Look at that. And this is how we eat it. Here's to this labor of love and lots of ingredients. Let's see how well it turned out. Phenomenal. Let me finish chewing. Y'all, I can't believe we just made that at home. That is absolutely amazing. And you got to watch the whole process of catching the bait, catching the fish, cooking it, and this is my favorite part, aside from catching them, is eating them. This fresh fish, this could be in a nice gourmet Indian restaurant somewhere in downtown Pensacola or Atlanta, Los Angeles. This right here is a phenomenal dish, and I'm not trying to overhype myself. I like to stay humble, but outdid ourselves on this one. I'm gonna take some more of this fish and rice. Wow, that is so good. Fresh redfish from Alabama in an Indian masala dish doesn't get any better than that. I'm gonna have to let y'all go so I can finish eating, because this is amazing. I actually lived in Kenya when I was 4 and 5. Nairobi, Kenya, Mombasa, Kenya. Lived there for a little bit, and this is how we ate food. I didn't cook because I was 4 and 5, but this is what I got to eat was cooked on stuff like this. So it's been working for years, just cooking over a hot flame. The spice trade brought all these ingredients from India to the rest of the world, and now we can enjoy fresh dishes like this. So if you enjoyed this catch and cook, I know it was a little complicated, but go hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, smash that subscribe button. I want to thank all the sponsors of the video. They are linked down below, and I want to thank y'all most importantly for watching. So we'll see you on the next Bama Saltwater fishing video. I want to thank the good Lord up above for everything he does for us. So we'll see you later.